not gonna, she isn't gonna have, I'm not gonna like engage her with anything. I'm just gonna kind of
Gotcha.
explain. Yeah.
Cool. All right, let me verify this stream is running. I think we are golden.
Oh yeah,
Yes, we
mention the
are.
live events too.
Yes, yes, yeah. So that's really weird. I think that's a scam that you encounter there. Just take a look at the domain
Events.
name.
Mhm.
It's kind of funny. That's the kind of stuff like I like to roll into my security and privacy course, for like
Mhm.
IT and everything. And it's so easy for somebody to overlook like a simple email address that they think like might be addressed to them legitimately, but they take a look at like the email domain name and you can clearly see like, it's misspelled like center versus RE. What are they like French or something now? Facebook was renamed over to Meta, and then they
Yeah.
have like some weird domain names. Oh yeah, there's some crazy stuff you can do, like with like hacking and everything. Anyways, okay, so onward to this. I'll talk to you about that another time. But
Mhm.
um, cool. So here we are again, guys. Welcome to our Tuesday coherence meditation. We hold these every single week at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific time. Our main YouTube channel is Cosmic Gaia Community. So if you want to go to youtube.com/ at symbol Cosmic Gaia Community, as a matter of fact, one of these QR codes, you could just put your phone, click, it'll take you right to that. The other QR code is actually going to take you over to where you can sign up for a newsletter. We can, um, you can see the newsletter. Oh, geez, the live Zoom link, and I think there's one other thing on there, but we're actually kind of redoing that more recently with the advent of Freedom Snap coming online in a beta stage very, very soon here. It's turning out pretty well. Just getting certain things built in. It's going to be a beta, invite only. So more news on that very soon. So our live session is actually held here on Zoom, as I mentioned. So do point over to one of those QR links, and you can join us live here. We restream out to YouTube and Facebook. So if you are over there and you'd like to chat, put in anything on the chat, I'll see it over on my left monitor, and I maybe can bring it over here to our live Zoom chat. The format of our coherence meditations about 15 minutes, brief discussion in the very, very beginning, and then we'll just go right into it. And you'll probably notice if get towards the end and we just maybe drop off, well, that's a good indication. We want to let you just continue on your own with a deep meditation and not to disrupt you. We do encourage these to take place every day on your own. So feel free to do that. Oh, also, in case you would like to go back to previous recordings on YouTube, you can go over to the Cosmic Gaia Community channel. Those are actually being brought over to our Freedom Snap social platform site very soon. So we're going to have those trimmed down nice and neat with these intros and everything else. Probably just cut right out and maybe some good chakra hurts that will help you. And yeah. So anyway, last week's title, I was actually traveling and I brought back a little bit of a case of like a cold. So you could probably tell that in my voice right now. But last week's title was A Beacon of Hope for Children Everywhere. And today's title is Journey Through Grief, a live meditation for collective healing. So, with that said, off to you, Seth. Awesome to see everyone here. You too, Seth.
Thank
and
you.
and tell everybody about this live event that you got going on. I'm very
Yeah.
excited for that.
Yep. So, hello, everybody. And thank you, as always, Greg, for that. It's been awesome working with you. And it's beautiful to watch now because now things are starting to like really kick in and we're aware that we can make an impact. And a lot of that is with these live events. I've got a small team. Everybody feels as passionate about it like I do. And the goal is really simple. Let's get conscious, caring people together. Anybody whose heart is beating, let's get together. Let's relax. Let's get into a coherent state together and then networking friendship, community, all the stuff. I guess you'd say it's for people who want to meet other people like them, but nobody wants to go to a bar. Nobody wants to go to traditional. Here's my Venus kitty. She's oh the girl. I call her a coherence kitty. She gets into these states. She's just purring. She's so happy, and I start getting into it, and we'll spend an hour together doing that. It's what it's been the past few weeks, almost an hour a day, just really, really beautiful. So she's Venus, the coherence kitty. But yes, these events, I mean, talk about a time more than ever to get caring, loving, open-minded, open-hearted people together. This is it, everything happening in the world. It's almost like an impetus. It's like life is inspiring us and encouraging us to break down the boundaries of everything that we feel in resistance to ourselves, to life. And these events are going to be that. Yes. Greg made that one. They're at the Unity Center for Spiritual Growth in Windham, Maine. It's like a universal Unitarian church that I'm sorry if I'm wrong about saying this, but they welcome everybody, no matter what somebody believes, no matter what religion, no matter what politics. We just want people who are open-minded and open-hearted. And this venue came to me through a dear friend who actually, it's really interesting. Her and I met when I was with my friend Susanna, who were kind of, all right, let me explain this. So there's something happening that a lot of people know about. And it's interesting because I hear tons of people saying similar things. We're having this phenomenon, this field of possibility where all of a sudden we'll meet somebody and you just feel so much love for them. You don't know why. And it isn't romantic or intimate or anything like that. It's like you feel genuine love. And this is happening all over the place now more than ever. And when I first met Susanna about 8 years ago, it was that instant feeling of like, whoa, okay, why do we feel like this? And we know each other. We don't know from where, but it's that kind of connection where you recognize soul family is there. And it doesn't have to mean anything, and part of it, we're so used to engaging with our own capacity to love with other people. That's most of what love is to most people. And that's great. But there's something so much more powerful happening now. And people who are opening their heart to others, to feeling the feelings of love without it being in a box, without it being, oh, this is me, that's you, and we're having this experience of love. It is a universal feeling that is coming through all of us. But we're so used to identifying with others and with the world like in a box. We put it in a box and we're like, okay, this is that kind of love. This is this kind of love. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that now we're having a greater experience of feeling love without boundaries. And oh my God, when I met Susanna, it was like that. We just felt this connection. And we were talking about, I have a brother, a biological brother who I love very much. He's a great friend to me. And I was talking about him and she was like, "Ooh, I have a sister." And so that was it. We had that like common ground of like, whoa, who are we to each other? Like, what is this? And then as we started talking about it, she was telling me about her sister. And so we decided to get together and hang out. And when I met her and her sister together, it was like, whoa, okay, a lot of energy exchange going on, a lot of familiar kinds of feelings of self-love and love itself. And like without really being able to articulate what it is, but you just feel it. It's there. It's powerful. Soul family. And so we got to be good friends, all three of us. And then they told me that Sarita, who is Susana's sister, and their relationship is like soulmate. It's not just biological. It's not even soul family. It's something, it's almost like they're two different souls that came from one. It's like that kind of thing. And they love each other and they're open to that. And they were both really receptive with me, and we were sharing ideas and just all different potentials and possibilities. And then Sarita told me that she has breast cancer. And instead of taking the traditional allopathic route, she wanted to focus on it with her own connection to life, to natural treatments. And long story short, she ended up passing away from it. And there's a lot of reasons for it. We don't have to get into any of that, but obviously it devastated her sister, Susana, who is still one of my closest friends. Real friend, you know? And so the more you get to be friends with somebody without having a predefined relationship, or without taking the relationship and putting it in a box and keeping it in those boundaries, this feeling of mutual love that we share. And when I say we, I'm talking about everybody, not just her and I. Anybody who's open-minded and open-hearted. And so when we feel this and we're aware of it, then the more we trust it and engage with one another, the more that feeling of love, of soul love, of love without boundaries starts to work through many different parts of you. And you start to have remembrance or experiences where you know this feeling, you know it, it's there. The more you acknowledge that you know it, the more you're able to articulate it, the more you're able to build new relationships with this real love that is everybody and everything, say. Of course, that's a whole other topic, one that we will continue to go into. You know, like why, if there's this great love in the world, why could all the misery happen? And we'll tackle that. And so to be able to create an ongoing friendship with somebody that you feel like that with, like her and I had, you get to be vulnerable and you trust who you're with so much that you know you don't have to hide anything. You don't have to pretend to be somebody or something that you're not. And you get to engage with one another in a way that having those vulnerabilities being shared intentionally together, it creates space to complete that feeling or those feelings and the possibility of what it could mean. Because let's just for 1 second, let's get real here. Whatever this is in me, in you, it's causing our heart to beat. It's highly intelligent, way more intelligent than I am. And why? It's the most prominent thing that's happening to all of us. And yet, at the same time, it's almost like the most distant thing. And that thing, which isn't a thing at all, except for it's everything, that thing, that feeling, that awareness, that acknowledgement that there is a highly intelligent field of bioelectromagnetic frequency that is highly creative in its expression to whatever the degree that somebody wants to be creative with it. I'm saying that because whether we can consciously acknowledge it or not, this is what we all really are. And who we are is not separate from that. The more we have these connections together, and the more we're vulnerable with ourselves and others that we trust to be who and what we are, the more this feeling, this relationship of us, who we think we are, to what we are, this energy, this highly intelligent field, the more we become conscious of how interlinked with it we are. And as that begins to happen, life itself, this creative energy, starts to fill in the blanks. As you become more conscious of it, the more you realize that you are bridging your conscious awareness of self with all the things in your unconscious or subconscious. And anybody who's doing that and making a habit out of it, you are bridging the recognition of who you are, yourself, your ego, your personality. You are bridging you with what you are, this infinite field of highly intelligent frequency that is working miracles in and around everything all the time. And this is what we're doing together. And I'm saying all this because I know you guys get it. I don't like the phrase preaching to the choir, but you guys know this. This is why we're here. Things that can get in the way of this ever evolving field of potentiality, of connection that is in us, that is us. When we experience hardcore things like losing your soulmate sister who you love more than anybody, creating this connection can be difficult because we're living in a world where it's not prioritized. It's starting to become prioritized, but we still need to be who we think we are in this world to survive, or that's the old view of it, which is also changing big time. And so I've watched her and her power. She's so creative, like she's so conscious, so aware. And I've watched how she's struggled with this. And of course she would. Who wouldn't? And there's about 100 to 200,000 people every day that die, is what the statistics are. And you wonder how many of those deaths that are happening every day, how many of them are creating trauma or such intense emotional grief that we're not able to deal with that. Because it's, talk about real, right? Like when you're living in this world with yourself or someone you love and that person dies, not easy at all. So there's something called the refractory period. And the refractory period is essentially when we get into a state of stress or grief or sadness, the feeling of our body chemistry, when we entertain or just give awareness to the grief or trauma or drama that we're feeling, it can cause us to get stuck. And when we get stuck in that, we start creating habits that allow us to focus more and more on finding ways to deal with this feeling. And that creates almost like a loop that we get stuck in. So more things in life happen that remind us of the grief we're feeling, and we engage in those patterns because our body chemistry is addicted to it, or it's hyper connected to it. And the people who stay in this refractory period, right, the amount of time that emotional upset takes, this by staying in that state, this causes our body to break down, causes hormones of stress to just be pumped out like crazy. And most people spend every day of their life in a state of upset, low grade to mid grade to high grade upset, of stress. Most of us are like that anyway, because that's what has been normalized in us in this world. Hold on. And for anybody who doesn't have water, make sure to bring some. We're going to charge that water with our heart. So when we're not able to face the intensity of the feelings that we experience with trauma or grief of death, losing people we truly love who are close to us, and we don't know how to deal with it, we kind of push it off to the side. We bypass it. And the more we do that, the more that feeling accumulates in our subconscious. And the more, even though we know we don't want to be head on and facing it, we know that it's there. And if we're not facing it, then people, places, experiences, things happen around us that remind us or trigger us of the recognition that that feeling, that bypass grief, whatever it might be, or trauma. And so it keeps building up and it's building up, and we're not able to get beyond it until we're ready. And Susanna is ready. And I know people listening to this and watching, there's so many that are ready to do it, because it isn't at all about bypassing. It's the opposite. It's moving out of that refractory period, the state of emotional upset. Because if we stay in that, then it builds up, becomes more intense. But when we can feel that, acknowledge it, with the knowing that we're not going to stay stuck in it, those are the people who thrive. That's the difference of people who die from stress compared to those who can thrive in the midst of stress. And it takes courage to do that. And she's ready, and I know so many are. And with 1 to 200,000 people passing away every day, we know that the collective pool of grief is so preeminent, so here in this world. And if most of us struggle just facing our own grief, our own stress response to it, then you know that that's what's happening probably for most of the people that are dying every day. And so that feeling of unresolved grief gets pushed off to the side. All these habits that cause us to bypass it, that happens. And so all these things, these collective field of unresolved experience, truly contributes to the 100th monkey effect in a way that creates more of the pain. And so we're going to do this now, and we're going to keep focusing on it in this meditation and the ones after it. And all the work that we do together is very similar. And this one's powerful because we all have faced it. We are facing it. And we're going to continue to face it because this is the world that we're in. And so to feel that grief here and now, which is what we're going to do when we get into this meditation, to feel it fully. And then having that reminder, like, okay, we're not going to stay stuck in a emotional state of upset that is causing constant stress to happen in our being that gets compounded and built from not being able to face it fully. So we're going to do that now. We're going to really get into a state of feeling these feelings and whatever they mean to you. Because even though these are collective themes and feelings, they are universal. And everybody's response to these feelings or experiences is going to be completely unique. And in that is the beauty of it. Because even though we're all feeling similar things, they are universal. And if a universal theme is occurring through an individual soul who is embodied in these bodies, who's having their own experience of something that is very universal, we can go into that and have a profound effect because it's such a huge amount of collective energy that is already there. And in this way, the more we work together, the more we create these neural pathways of feeling our pain, confronting it whenever it comes up, with the reminder that even though we're going to feel it, we're setting that reminder so that we don't stay stuck in it. And I know I just shared a lot. And before we start, I would love to hear if anybody has any questions or anything they want to share. And if you have an experience in your life where you're dealing with grief, or you know somebody that is, to whatever degree you're comfortable, I ask that keep those people in your heart while we do this together. Allow yourself to feel this fully, and then we move beyond it. And we get good at doing that. And that's why it's so important of creating community together, because we're here to bring out the best in each other. We're here to inspire all of us that, yeah, life is intense, can be really scary, can be really painful. But when we come together in true honesty, true integrity, selflessness, in the sense that we recognize that each of us is this universal expression of life force that is expressing itself in its own unique way. What an important thing, right? How beautiful, how incredible, and how worth it is to create community with others. We're committed to bringing out the best in each other. So if anybody has anything they want to say or share, please do that. And if you have anybody in your heart that is dealing with this, or if you are, keep that, bring that into this work with us. And Greg, I know I can't see the other platforms, but if you can, just let me know if there's anybody asking anything. And if you have anything you want to say too, Greg, you always have great, helpful insights.
Nothing from other channels, but yeah, I'm keeping my voice down to a minimum. The raspy voice. But yeah, thank you. And thank you, Bill, for sending that. I'll send you out a message.
Oh,
So yeah,
yeah.
that was a lot. That was a handful, Seth. So,
I know.
but
I try to keep things short, and I know, but this is such a big topic, and Susan is such a dear friend to me. And again, knowing everything that's happening around the world with all the people who are passing away and all the chaos, it's important,
Well, it's like
to,
what you and I were speaking about what a week and a half ago. It's just like no matter where I turn, it's like I got my uncle, I got like my childhood best friends, family, like mother just died like about 2.5 years ago of just dementia, and he's been diagnosed now with lung cancer, and got my uncle, and then my mom's kind of well, we're working on her,
yeah.
and then my dad, everything.
Ah,
Like man, yeah. So some of it is, the free will with some things. So, that we'll discuss in the following weeks. Maybe roll that into some kind of session. But yeah.
and in addition to what you're saying too, Greg, for everybody, we're gonna do shorter ones. I'm gonna put together a compilation of meditations that can be done in 5 to 10 minutes so that people can do this more regularly, because sometimes having an hour or more session at a time and just doing it a few times a week or whatever, obviously you're still going to have benefit. And by doing them daily for even just short amounts of time and being consistent and committing to it, that allows us to really begin to embody this limitless life force that we all are. So that will be coming. All right. With that said,
So you're going to be dancing over there, right? So it's going to be like a total party event right there, right?
and then people
Dancing,
scan the
meditation.
QR
How
code.
about dancing while you're meditating?
We're going to do all that. After it, it's going to be a party. We're
All
literally
right.
going to have a party and it's going to
Okay.
be beautiful and fun. But yeah, that QR code that you made on that flyer, where does that one go
That goes to
specifically?
the Facebook Live and to your Facebook event that you created.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Actually, just the post, but it has all the details on there.
So
Anyways,
going forward, yeah, it's good to know. All right. With all that's been said, shut your eyes, calm down. I know I got all riled up. And the reasons for that is because I love my soul family. I love my friends. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, I'm doing this live meditation right now. Sorry. New roommate. It's awesome. I love it when that happens because people like, are these really live streamed or not? So a little bit of reality. So just relax, shut your eyes. Yeah, I got all worked up about it with passion, with love, with care, because I know the power that we all have and its ability to overcome all of our struggles, especially grief, when we can embrace that just like every day has a night, every idea has a counter idea. Everything is always a dualistic expression of the same thing. That when we allow to be what it is in a state of peace, the more the lines between that duality cease to exist. Meaning, if we can learn to love life, then we can allow that love to assure us when we're facing death. And there's a great saying I don't know who said it, but essentially, those who die before they die do not die when they die. And different people will have different ways of viewing that. But essentially, it means those who are willing to take time out of their life, out of their day, and begin to focus on life itself. With that focus, with that consistency of focus, we are building the ability in our being to be able to experience greater amplitudes of the frequencies that are always there. And the more we do that, at some point, an experience will happen. You won't even be prepared for it, likely. You're just consistently learning to love yourself, to love life. And in the process of doing that, the parts of you that are afraid or stuck or in stress, that love you're creating by paying attention to it within you will break down your human awareness, your ego that for most of us has been built up unconsciously. Who we think we are will cease to exist while we exist. And it can feel like a dark night of the soul. It'll feel like very uncomfortable at first. But when you teach yourself to love your life, the energy of that love will be there to comfort you during your dark night of the soul, of the ego, really. And so whatever self-limitations, whether it's self-imposed or imposed from society, those are temporary limits. You're not going to take that with you, and nor would you want to. What we are always going to take is whatever expression of this highly intelligent energy that allows everything to exist, that allows us to exist in these bodies, this profound innate intelligence that we all share. When we learn to love ourselves, the expression of that creative energy itself becomes to get so coherent through our practice of self-love and our honesty about the parts of ourselves that maybe we don't love. By making a consistent habit of learning to love and to face the things that trouble us. That is what we really are. That is what we take with us no matter what. And to allow the limited parts of our perception to die, to release while we're here in these bodies. I can tell you that it is so empowering when you get so good at loving life. The fear of death doesn't have the same effect. You're focusing so much of creating an internal relationship with this highly intelligent life force. And by creating that relationship, at some point with practice, you're going to have experiences of how powerful you are. And when you start to have those experiences, you naturally will want to continue to do this work because you're experiencing the benefits. And so are the people around you. You don't even need to focus on projecting your energy. It's happening anyway. And most of us, it's happening in an unorganized, sometimes chaotic way. So when we take our awareness that's been normalized through all these different channels of stress, when we begin to know ourselves in this way, everybody around us will be affected by it. Everything around us, especially nature. When we intentionally get into these states of calm with bright awareness at the same time, and finding the balance between being so relaxed and so awake at the same time, that begins to bridge the conscious part of our human self with the unconscious part of our human self that also is collectively in tune with everything that is happening. And so our ability to create internal coherence, meaning when we are calm and we are aware, all the organs and systems of our body start to harmonize their own functions to each beat of your heart, to each breath that you give and receive. When you get all these elements working together, you begin to start remembering how powerful you are and have the potential to be. And before we get really, really relaxed, I want everybody to focus on grief, what it means to you. If it's in relation to somebody else, if it's in relation to the collective pain body that has accumulated in the unconscious of us all. Be willing to feel that grief now, no matter how much it hurts, no matter how sad you feel, from a place of being completely relaxed in your body, while your awareness is bright at the same time. Say something to that feeling. Tell grief that you are ready to feel the intensity of its frequency here and now. Let it know that you are ready, if you are ready, to feel it with all its intensity. And literally allow yourself to feel it and confront it. Again, asking it, willing it to be at its most intense expression to you here now. And while you're calling that feeling to have a great expression in you now, see if you feel any resistance to invoking that feeling or to speaking to it in a way where you are ready to feel its intensity. See if there's parts of your body that are in resistance to it, or other thoughts and feelings that are related to it. Let yourself be aware of your body's own response to the intensity of this feeling and to the parts of us that are in resistance to us being totally ready to feel the full expression of our pain, of our grief. Talk to it like you would to somebody that you know and love and trust. You can tell them anything and they will be there, present with you. Call on your relationship to grief, to the side effects of grief, and let it know that you are ready for it to teach you that you are ready to be a student of learning how to confront these intense or complex feelings. You are learning how to feel these feelings. And if you can do it at its max potential, to the feeling of it in its highest intensity, talk to it and let yourself feel it fully. And if you're noticing the side effects of it, how the feeling of that grief calls on other thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, actions related to bypassing the grief or just not knowing how to deal with it. Let all of that be here now with your state of calm and your bright awareness synchronized with your breathing and with every beat of your heart to whatever degree you're able to. There's no way to do this wrong. And there is infinite ways for you to become empowered from taking the intensity of these feelings that most of us bury because we don't know how to face it or feel it. So we're taking who we are. We're taking our personality that has trouble with grief, with the deep sadness, with the fear that comes along with it. We are being aware of what has always been there. Only now we're choosing to be with it fully. And if you're not able to feel the intensity of what this represents for you, just know that you have planted the seeds for you to start becoming more aware of the effects that all of these complex feelings have and the unconscious habits of your human personality doing all it can to process these feelings. And so, to whatever degree you're able to feel that now, plant a seed of reminding yourself that whether you are able to feel the full expression of this pain now or in the future, with whenever you feel it, with whatever personality traits occur as a result of you feeling it. Let all of this become integrated inside of this profound, highly creative expression of life force. Let yourself feel that pain while also acknowledging that the ability for you to heal, to feel it fully and move on from it. Remind yourself that whenever this feeling or set of feelings come up, that they also have the solution. You intentionally being aware of it while you're in a constant and consistent state of heart, brain, whole body, whole soul coherence. So really set that reminder. Again, remind yourself that when you are confronting these difficult to feel feelings, that you have the ability to confront it and feel it fully, while at the same time knowing now, consciously acknowledging that you have the solution for you to face all of this, whether it's now or later. And in a way that whenever you do feel it, you have now set up a reminder that by being in a state of calm receptivity to fully embrace the feelings and expressions of life that we normally would try to bury or push aside. We're not doing that anymore. We are allowing the full expression of this pain to represent itself in our awareness, while knowing and remembering and intentionally creating a consistent habit of knowing you have the ability to take those difficult feelings and allow them to be processed by this profound innate intelligence that is the cradle and grave for everything, everybody, universes come and go because of this energy. The harmony of all these complex bodily systems that you have, that is the same creative impulse that is the cradle and grave of universes, multiverses. What you are is absolutely unified with all of that. Only now you're creating a habit of being conscious of it. You are allowing your human personality to become aware of the feeling of being in coherence, in harmony with these beautiful bodies that we all have, that have the ability to be so in tune with all the systems of your body. When you are conscious of how interconnected all of this is in and around you, no matter what the world looks like, no matter who you believe yourself to be, you are completely unified with the same life force energy that allows everybody and everything to exist. And acknowledge that now you are taking time, space to become aware of all the different celestial bodies all around us that affect all of the systems in us. Just like when we feel the sun, we are feeling the heat from a star that is 100 million miles away. And just as we are feeling what it's like to be so connected within, that we are able to more consciously feel the influence of all these great celestial bodies around us. This allows you to be at peace, for life to go at whatever pace it's going to go, to whatever challenges that you've struggled to face, or anything that comes later. You are aligning your perception of self and reality into the predominant coherence or harmony of expression that everything already is. And focus on your breath right now. Slow, but deeper, using more lung capacity. To create rhythm of even inhales and even exhales. And as you're bringing your awareness to that, begin to notice if you can feel every beat of your heart that's pulsing throughout your entire body. If you can synchronize your breathing with every beat of your heart, they don't need to be exact. And your heart will beat quicker than your breathing. And it's in the awareness of creating this space that you begin to feel and create new rhythms. Rhythms of life force energy pulsing in and around your entire being. That just like the sun shining on us from so far away, your state of being is completely correlated to all these great celestial bodies all around us. While you're breathing very gently, while allowing yourself to be aware of your heart, of its pulse, see if you can create the feeling of gratitude in your heart first. See if you can feel that feeling without putting a smile on your face. Can you feel that love, that reverence, that awe, that who you believe yourself to be is at all times being influenced by your state of being? See if you can feel that feeling in your being. And if you can, then put a small smile on your face. And you can allow that smile to correlate into the feelings of awe, of reverence, of love, self-love, intermingled with this highly intelligent, energy-based love that is the creator of everything. Know that every time you feel grief or sadness for anybody or anything in this world, that no matter how troubling these global situations look to us, no matter how scary, feelings of our own life and this sacred fright, our own fear of death can be so integrated into these feelings of highly coherent bioelectromagnetic rhythms of infinitely intelligent energy, causing all the systems in our body to work literally in miraculous ways. That cause all the systems of cosmic forces from here into forever. You are recreating your relationship with this intelligent, cosmic, divine intelligence, quantum field of endless potential. You already are all of that. And now you're creating a habit of it so that it becomes your second and then first nature. Meaning, whenever you feel something that is difficult to feel, whenever something is happening that completely can knock you out of the orbit of your own balance and wellness, you're creating the space to become so trusting of life that no matter what happens, and no matter how scary it can be, you're ready to face it. No more running from it. No more bypassing it. You are creating a state of being where everything in you is in harmony with everything outside of you, just by being calm, using bright awareness to create the process of having your breathing synchronize with every beat of your heart. And the feeling of that smile, both on your face and in your heart at the same time, there to love it all. It's kind of like your feet are the roots that go deep into this incredible planet that is nourishing us. And your head, the upper part of that tree, is expanding as far out into space as you are ready for. And your heart is in the middle, learning how to love it all unconditionally and creating greater space for the roots of your being to be deeply grounded. And while your awareness and the upper parts of your being are out in space, exploring the limits, the new possibilities that exist everywhere out there and that have their own influence on you and your evolving sense of self. And you are exploring as much and as far as you want, inside and out. Your body is firmly rooted into its cosmic mother. And your heart is right there in the middle of all of that, learning how to face what was difficult to face with its own coherence that represents the state of being that you willingly create. When all of this starts to work in synchrony with itself, and while you are aware of it, then no matter what happens in life, you're able to feel fully and then move into these states of internal connection so that your being is able to recognize and identify as being normal, no matter how far you want to explore in inner and outer nature, no matter how far you want to go, you are able to because you know that you are rooted in reality. And all the passing fads and trends and belief system of a species that is in a predominant state of stress, you're able to bring awareness to that for you and for everybody in your world, our world, in a way that brings that coherence out into everything that we fear to face for ourselves and for others. We're making an agreement with ourselves, with our soul, with our bodies, to acknowledge that we are ready and willing to feel the full effect of our experiences, no matter how difficult that can be. And we can do it with the confidence of knowing that everything happening is so much greater than what we think or believe in these very short lifespans in comparison to the soul that is illuminating them. You are facing the fear with the willingness of a student rooted in the ground, wide open to all possibility. And with that heart, that ability to create feelings way beyond the normal feelings that have been normalized during this short stay. For all the people, children, the natural beings all around us that are sharing their world with us. Watch how creating these internal states, watch and feel how the natural world around you responds to that. Because with your consistent practice, everybody and everything around you will show you how connected you are and how connected you have the ability to be. And without even focusing, allow a huge smile on your face, ear to ear. Let the middle of your chest feel that fully and influence your intention with its infinite capacity. Know that you are intentionally in training all of your human senses to become stronger, supported with deep groundedness, solid groundedness, an awareness that is ready to become as present as it could ever possibly be. And that with difficult experiences, your ability to love life unconditionally is able to take those varied feelings to new feelings that the world can throw at us without even realizing. Create the confidence that you already are, that you intentionally have the ability to be in coherence and aware of that coherence. And allow yourself to feel greater expressions of feeling. And know that your willingness and ability to create internal balance connected to everything, great and small. Let yourself become confident that you can take painful circumstances and alchemize and transition them into greater modes of expression that were always there, but that we just hadn't seen temporarily because we were not in harmony. And when we are in coherence, when our heart and our brain and all of these miraculous, beautiful systems of our being are all connected in harmony with themselves, and you aware of it, you can take the grief, the deepest grief that you carry in your heart, that so many in the world push aside. You actually have the ability to allow this coherent state of being to process all of it to whatever degree you are ready and able. And when you take difficult feelings and recognize that just like night and day, they have very different properties, but they're the same thing. You can take the darkest fear that troubles you so much, and you can choose to witness it with a trusting heart. And in doing so, feeling how your naturally coherent body in harmony with all the elements of the natural world, supporting you and your willingness to alchemize, to take difficult things and experiences and recognize that there is a higher octave expression of them. And in that expression is you becoming more and more conscious of what you already are, of what was always there, and that was only waiting for you to create a more intimate relationship, connection, of all of these different modes of expression as life pulses through your being. And as that life force is supported by all the great celestial bodies all around, and set a reminder right now, a reminder that the next time you feel grief and all the different pains that go along with it, and you feel that, now you're going to feel it with a reminder that you're able to feel it and process it and move beyond it, so that the upper octaves of whatever they represent when we're experiencing them can be in harmony with and transformed to being in tune with all these great living rhythms of the known and unknown universe, as we are in direct relation to it. And remind yourself that you have family. You have friends. You are intentionally creating intentional relationships with others in this community who want to bring out the best in everything and inside of us. As you witness and experience what most will just push aside, you know that these internal, external states of coherent connectivity to all that is great and small is all conspiring to work together for the benefit of your own willingness to evolve at whatever rate and capacity you are ready for. And smile as big as you can, ear to ear. And while you're feeling that smile, let your awareness be reflecting into the water that you brought with you. Let your confidence of knowing that you are literally creating yourself in the image of a deeply connected universe. You are learning to trust what most don't or are afraid to. You're beginning to make it so that you have faith that no matter what happens, this feeling of connectivity, of connectedness is always there, unconditionally supporting you. And to the degree of unconditional love you hold for yourself and for the force of life that is pulsing through you. See if you can feel all of that into the water you're focusing on. For everybody who wants to stay in these states and go deeper into it on your own, and with support from us, you can hang up from the call and continue to evolve, to be developed to whatever level you're ready for. And from a place of calm, with everybody else still here, you are so relaxed that you could almost go to sleep, but you are intentionally keeping your awareness bright, just like the sun, even way brighter than that when you are ready. Know that you are a force of nature and that we all are, and that together we can anchor all of the connectivity that is always there. Only now we're choosing to be more conscious of it. And with that, put another smile on your face and put that smile into the water you brought. And while your feet are planted deep in the ground, your head is way out in space, and your heart is in the middle, learning how to unconditionally love and trust it all. This is us creating the 100th monkey effect, morphogenic field. We are becoming conscious of our unified consciousness, and we are being supported to know it, to learn from it, and to create new expressions in whatever way we want. We are all connected, but our perception and our ability to send and receive who we are or who we want to be, that's ours individually. And that is a beautiful, exciting thing to embody and to watch how the world around you supports your ability to sustain these intentional states. And that as you face your grief, you have a community of individuals ready to know themselves as they truly are and to be present with everybody else, encouraging and bringing out the best in each other. When you're ready, take your hands, create some friction. And instead of putting your palms over your eyes, put them over your ears just for a few moments. When you're ready, please like, love, share, and come to our events in person. Help us get the word out there. Greg, thank you. And we will see you guys next week.
Thank you, everyone. Have a marvelous week. We will see you next week.